So, moving to the hands-on part, you will be given a sheet of paper like this one, in which you will find an M1, an M2, and an M3. In the M1, you will find the instructions and the strategies that your activity has to follow. For instance, in this page, you will find a 5-step activity. So here you have the instructions for each activity. Those are the instructions for the teacher. So you have to set the instructions for the activity based on the instructions that you have here. In M2, you have the reading text that you're gonna use in the activity that I mentioned before. And in the M3, you will find the language content. So here you have all the language support, the vocabulary, and the topics that the activity in a way has to cover.
So, what we want you to do in the hands-on part is that apart from this set of sheets, we're going to give you another sheet where you can find a list of instructions, and then another text and another list of instructions for the last part of the class. So what you have to do first is that you have to get in group. So get in groups of 4 or 5. So look for 3 or 4 partners, get together, make a circle, the 3 or the 5 of you, and then read the method, read the strategy, read the entire activity. We want you to understand the activity, what is it about, and we want you to be clear with all the stages. Okay? Then, after reading the activity, apply the method. How can you apply the method? Well, you have first the example text that is here on the M2, and also you have this other text that we propose and that we will give to you in this handout. Then try out the method. In other words, role play the method. Imagine that you are inside a classroom and you use this method, you use this activity, you use this strategy. During this process of trying out, we want you to discuss. First of all, we want to know the pros and the cons. So that is one thing. We want to know the pros and the cons of using a method like this. To use a method like this, we have to know the context first. So that's the second thing we want you to know. We want you to discuss. And if we want to know the pros and the cons and the context, in which context we use this activity, we also want to know in what or with what objectives would you use this activity. So again, discuss when trying out, discuss context, well, pros and cons first of all, then context, and then the objective. During your discussion, you have to take notes. It's very important for you to take notes because later on, we will all get in a circle and make a quick report of what we discussed. By the end of the class, you will be asked to model, to role play your activity. You have 15 minutes to perform your discussion, and then at the end of the class we will give 5 minutes per group to role play your activity. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask